For most of his life, Jonah lived by one simple rule: not my problem. If a coworker missed a deadline, not his problem. If neighbors argued too loudly, not his problem. If the world felt heavy and unfair, he told himself he had enough of his own weight to carry. That rule kept his life quiet, predictable, safe. Every morning, Jonah rode the same bus to work. Same seat, same route, same silence. He liked it that way, until one rainy Tuesday when the bus stopped for too long at an intersection. The driver sighed. Someone was blocking the road. Through the fogged window, Jonah saw an old woman struggling with a fallen cart. Groceries were scattered all across the wet pavement. Cars honked. People watched from their windows. Someone should help her. The driver muttered to no one in particular. Jonah checked his watch. He was already running a little late. Not my problem, he thought. Someone else will step in, but no one did. The light turned green. The bus lurched forward. Hoost acid did. The woman slipped. Her knees hit the hard, cold ground. Jonah quickly looked away as the bus pulled off, but the image was burned into his mind. At work, the numbers on his screen blurred into a meaningless jumble. His coffee went cold, untouched. He couldn't shake the picture of the woman on the ground, alone. That night, the elevator in his apartment building was broken. 7 floors. He had no choice but to take the stairs. Halfway up, Jonah heard heavy breathing, shaky and uneven. A teenage boy sat on the steps, his head buried in his hands. He looked up as Jonah approached. "My mom's in the hospital," the boy said, his voice cracking. "I just got the call. I don't know what to do." Jonah hesitated. His dinner was waiting in the fridge. His favorite show was queued up on the TV. Comfort was just a few floors away. The old instinct flared up. Not my problem. He almost walked past, ready to retreat into his own world. But instead, he sat down on the step next to the boy. They didn't talk much. Jonah didn't offer any grand advice. He didn't try to fix anything. He just stayed there, in the quiet stairwell. When Jonah finally reached his own apartment, something inside him felt different. Lighter, somehow. Days passed. Jonah started noticing things he had trained himself for years not to see. The coworker who was clearly drowning in deadlines, her eyes tired and panicked. The elderly neighbor whose lights had stayed off for too long, her mail piling up. The homeless man who sat outside the grocery store, who would thank people for just seeing him even when they didn't offer any money. Each and every time, the old reflex returned. Not my problem, but each time. The voice felt smaller, weaker. It no longer held the same power over him. One evening, on his usual bus route home, Jonah saw flashing lights up ahead. An accident. A crowd had gathered on the sidewalk. Phones were raised, recording. Everyone was just waiting. A man was lying on the sidewalk, bleeding. No one moved. The bus doors opened with a hiss. Jonah stood up. His legs shook as he stepped off the bus and moved toward the scene. He didn't know what to do. He wasn't a hero. He wasn't a doctor. But he knelt down anyway. He shouted for someone to call for help. He took off his jacket and pressed it to the wound, trying to stop the bleeding. He stayed until the wail of the ambulance siren grew louder and finally arrived. That night, walking home beneath a quiet, star-filled sky, Jonah finally understood something profound. The phrase, "not my problem," had never protected him. It had only made his world smaller, colder, and lonelier. He realized that caring didn't mean he had to carry the weight of the entire world. It just meant carrying something, and sometimes that was enough to change a life, including his own. Thanks for watching. If this story resonated with you, consider subscribing for more content that makes you think.